Hi, Laura.
Sorry, I'm like
Hi.
sick in bed in my bathroom.
No, you look cozy. You're fine.
Yeah. But anyway, hi. I just have a quick question. So I'm actually thinking of pivoting. Maybe I have like a story kind of similar to Allison's where I've been looking for a job for 2 years. And I've gotten interviews kind of far and far between. So I'm thinking of pivoting into social work. I also have a social work degree, and there's a position at a hospital where it would be helping people access healthcare. So I am excited about it. I just don't have that much social work experience. So I've kind of I just had like a quick resume question. I have at the beginning of my resume just more like my experiences that are either social work or kind of related, like program management kind of stuff. And then I have like select additional experience, and I don't even describe the position. I just have like
You have
the
to describe it.
title, but I
Yeah.
have like, so I have like 11 experiences that are like relevant where I go into detail, and then 12 where I just put the title. Do you think, and it goes as far back as when I started grad
This
school.
is your resume, Laura?
Yeah. Do you think that's
Okay.
too?
No, that's too much. So the methods, that's okay.
Yeah.
So just so you know, the methods are what gets you hired is up to 7 roles on a
Okay.
two-page resume,
Okay.
up to 7 roles. And yes, it needs to be your additional is actually called a leadership.
Oh,
So
right.
so here are the categories: summary, education, experience, and then leadership. So anything extra, side projects, internships, stuff that you feel is not as relevant or you want to pull down, you call it leadership. But everything, whether it's in the leadership category or the experience category, whichever one, it all needs to be expanded out to show it like a true experience, not just one bullet that you
Right.
did this. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
But
that's a
then the
great.
leadership could just be listed.
No, that
Oh, no,
needs
that
to
would.
be, that includes the 7 total roles. So you
Oh.
could have like 4 under experience, 3 under leadership. You could have
Oh.
7 under experience
Okay. The
and
seven
0.
total, not the top.
Yeah, total,
Okay.
total. So some of my mentees will use the leadership section and then drop it depending on the application. So that's the beauty of the leadership section, is that you can use it willingly. Some people are like, no, I think it kind of works without it. And some people want to move their timeline or pull things down. And then I introduced the leadership category for that reason, but it needs to be fleshed out roles.
Okay. But
Yes.
even if the rules are like one of my social work internships, it was in 2012. But since I don't have that much social work, but they seem to mostly be looking just for the degree.
Then pull that into your leadership section.
Oh, really?
Or you just leave it all under experience under chronological order
Yeah,
and take out, the only thing about that is you have, when you start to take things out, be mindful if there's like employment gaps.
there will be. And so how do you justify that?
I instead will pull it down into leadership
Right. Okay.
so that you don't do that, so that you don't
Okay.
have, if there's a couple of years here and there, like, oh, I went to school and I didn't work, and
Yeah.
there's certain things that you can justify, but if it's too obvious that like, whoa, this person has been all over the place, just be mindful of that part. Yeah.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
like, did you explain the gaps in the resume or no?
No, no,
No.
no, 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 no.
All right.
You
Sounds good.
can, you can in the cover letter, if you feel like, for example, I know some people like didn't work for 3 years or whatever, and you can say something about like, I helped my family. But I
Right.
also feel like that comes up in the interview anyways, when they're
Okay.
like, okay, we really want to talk to this person. I say, worry about that then.
Or if I
Yeah.
worked in like a totally different sector, like in politics, maybe I can mention that in the cover letter that I've also worked in politics. Um,
If it's relevant.
yeah, and that
I
this is
don't want you to,
something
this
different.
is this is what I'm warning you against, is you don't have to excuse yourself or make excuses. You're simply disclosing your
Right,
information. So be
right,
careful on like, if you're over explaining yourself versus it's just
right,
a matter of fact. Yeah,
right. But
that's
maybe
what you're.
like the like I could find skills that I gained in politics, like with the framing to
Oh, sure. Oh,
work,
sure.
and then
Yeah.
that will maybe kind of explain like some of the like gaps because I've had a lot of gaps with.
That,
Yeah,
so if you're applying to a job that is mostly like case management, patient engagement, very like working with people,
yeah,
and then you want to inform them about other work that to me is the leadership section. To me, the
right.
policy work would be under leadership, and then any case management internship goes at the
Yeah.
top.
Oh, and maybe
So,
I could oh, sorry. Maybe I could just stick things together so I could just say politics this year to this year instead of listing every single campaign. You know what I mean?
No, you need no, Laura, you need to, yeah. So if you only need, you don't need, keep in mind, it's more of the relevance. Do they need all of that, or do they just need a nod
Mhm,
of one experience that you're well-rounded?
mhm.
Is that what you're trying to let them know? Is that you're well-rounded?
Well, I'm just trying to like account for gap like large years of gaps where I was doing something else.
Oh, I see.
So then if I say political campaigns this year to this year in the leadership section, then that would um that would account for like what
I simply want, because what happens is they want to know the company and where you were, like how long were you at that company?
right,
So
right.
if it's a company, sure.
Yeah.
But if you're saying I was with like, you know, 3 companies and doing independent work, and then you're going
Yeah.
to have to pick like one to
Oh,
disclose.
maybe I could just say political consultant because you're like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool.
yeah, that would
Yeah,
be fine.
that
But
would be
again, it has to look like an experience mirrored like all the other ones.
okay.
That's
Yeah.
all. Yeah,
Okay.
it has to hold that. Yeah. No wonder
Okay.
you wanted to come on. I know we were
Yeah.
emailing, and I was
Yeah.
like, just come and ask your question. Yeah.
Well, it's also my first because I just signed up. So yeah, it's my first. I was like, oh,
Oh,
tomorrow. So yeah.
yay.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Okay.
Welcome. I hope you find it's been helpful already.
Thank you.
We cover a lot. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay,
Okay.
great. Questions, questions. What else? We've got interviews, we got applications. Anyone else want to? Hi, Lexi, you have a question or you want to share something?
Yes, hello. I just have a very quick question. I was just wondering, like, if you have a last round interview and you don't hear back within like the time frame that the hiring manager told you, and like you sent the thank you email like shortly after the interview, like at that point, do you just kind of just assume that you didn't get the job, or you wait until you get like something written? But yeah, that's the only question I had.
When was this? When was the
Yeah.
last?
This was 2 weeks ago, so it was an in-person interview. It wasn't really, I wouldn't call it an interview. It was more like a meet and greet. I had two virtual interviews before where they did more of that standard interview questions, and this
Right.
third interview was like just meeting everyone. Um,
Okay.
so I didn't have they didn't really ask me anything other than it was like more like they wanted to gauge my
Right.
questions. Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah,
And that was 2 weeks ago.
yeah, it was on April 8th.
You could follow up. You could follow up. And here's
Okay.
the thing is I always say the final candidate doesn't need to do anything. Like the final candidate will
Yeah.
be hunted, they will find you, they know your LinkedIn, they know where you live, like they know they know how to find you, and they'll leave messages as needed. Um, the reality is, what's the company? Is it government, nonprofit,
Uh,
healthcare?
Yeah, it's
What's
a Johns Hopkins University. I think that's
Oh,
academia.
okay. Was
I don't
it,
know, but
do you know if it was a grant funded position where they might be dealing with that?
yeah. So I was wondering, it's just I don't know how to say this. It's like not is it NIOSH, NIOSH funded study.
Oh, oh,
So
okay.
I'm wondering about that if there's it's canceled
Okay,
or
okay. First of all, kudos on making it 3 rounds through John Hopkins. Wow, amazing. Um, you might be in that new, like, I don't want to say they're going to pause your role, but that's kind of what's been going on is like, do they pause these roles? Do they, right? Like maybe they do want to onboard you, the hiring team, but then they have the administration telling them no one's hiring right now, right? Not that like John, not that they told you there's a hiring freeze, but things are evolving every day for these companies that are managing to this. Um, so that doesn't hurt to follow up given this climate of the funds. And so you might as well just say like, hey, it was a pleasure meeting the team, wanted to know if you have any additional information to share. Look forward to hearing from you. Like just letting them know that you're still interested.
okay.
Um, but if they have any additional information to share would be helpful because as you heard, Allison even has been experienced that they'll put jobs on
Yeah.
pause, right?
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make
So
sure. But I'll follow up with the previous email that I sent.
Yeah. Yeah. And it
Thank
wouldn't
you.
surprise you where they may say like, oh no, we're still interested. Just, hang tight. That could
Mhm.
also be it. Like,
Yeah,
because
that's
that
true.
happens too. Yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't make assumptions.
Yeah.
Assumptions, so
And
I will do that.
if you're really going crazy, Lexi, apply to a job. Apply to a job tonight because that helps the angst of like waiting and waiting and waiting. Do something that you can do. Just look for jobs, apply to another job, and just keep pushing. Okay, Lexi. Yeah, way
Okay,
to
great.
go.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yep. It's a lot. Even when you are at the end, no one's talking to you. It's crazy. The worst I've heard was when a mentee of mine in the state of Maryland, bless her heart, I think she's still there, or at least I hope she's still there and she hasn't been laid off. But she waited 6 months, 6 months, 6 months from her last interview. Like they told her that, no, this was from the day they told her you got the job. And then they made her wait 6 months to start. Like that blew my mind. So, this is government, but I also have heard where you get the job offer and it takes a month to get you started. Right. So it still can be just in that window. And then other times they can't get you in fast enough. They're like, you need to be in here like in 2 weeks, no time. Like we need you now. And so I've seen that as well. So, hang in there. I think everyone's feeling all these changes on a daily basis, and these companies have to make a decision before they really onboard new staff. Okay, Yuko, I found this career stage quiz really relevant for our current uncertain time. Oh, cool. I have to take that. I'll just poke on it and then I'll check it out later. All right, Niosh. Yes, I've heard of them. Yes. Niosh, thank you. Seda, thank you. Saida? I hope I'm not slaughtering your name.
Saida.
Saida. Thank you, Saida.
It is
Okay.
Niosh.
Niosh, yes.
Yeah.
I just think of nosh and food when I hear nosh.
They're under a lot of changes right now too because of like the FDA and whatnot. So it's not surprising that they're taking a month.
Everyone.
Okay,
AmeriCorps was just hit this weekend. I've been keeping in touch with my AmeriCorps friends and they haven't really heard anything. It's weird because the news will say one thing and then when you talk to people, it's like,
I keep
nothing.
feeling deja vu. Like, didn't this already happen? Didn't this already happen?
Well, I'm staying in touch with them because they've invited me to do a presentation in May for interview prep for the AmeriCorps members. And now I'm like, are there gonna be AmeriCorps members? Like, this is crazy. Like, what's going on? And so I don't know. And then they're gonna, undo the decisions, right? Then everyone will be back at work in another month. Or at least we hope so. That would be a nice surprise after everything. Okay, a couple more minutes. This is a great group, great session. Lots of interview talk.
Hey, Zoila.
Yes, hi, Rupika. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering when you mentioned Ellison about whether she was being overqualified. There was a position which I got rejection from. So I wanted to know if that's the same case.
Ooh, I don't know.
So how do you
I don't
want? Do you
know.
want me to tell you the whole job
I mean,
description?
do you want to drop? You can drop it in the chat. I don't mind looking at the job description if you have it. I think sometimes maybe whether it was a lateral move, and that's what overqualified means. Is lateral means you just you're moving over to the side.
So
So
I'm a
like,
fresh graduate. I
okay,
will not even fresh graduate. I will graduate in this coming May.
okay,
But the experience only required associate's degree, 1 to 2 years of relevant experience in healthcare.
okay.
And I have more than 5 years of experience in healthcare. And because my bachelor's was in
Medicine.
that and
Okay,
my master's, yeah.
okay. And then,
And the position was a clinical research coordinator at Cook's Children's Hospital.
oh, and have you been a coordinator already?
I have been a treatment coordinator in clinics, not research coordinator.
Ooh. To them, it might be the same because if it's research within a healthcare company.
So that is a hospital. Cook's Children is a pediatric hospital in Texas.
Right. But still, it's within the healthcare patient world of coordination. So I guess if maybe it could be that maybe you were overqualified and
And even if I was not, what is like, because
so
I
wait,
believe
sorry, Rupika. So do you have any healthcare hospital experience here in the US?
no. The only experience I have, professional experience I have is as an intern at the Tarrant County.
So that's how you would have gotten the job, is I think you I help those of you who are, who've worked in a different country, born in a different country, now working here. And there is a fine line that you walk in the sense of you don't want to sound overqualified, but you also want to get called in, right? So you're over here thinking, well, I have to disclose that I have over 5 years working with patients just to get a call back, right? But I think I would have wanted you to just say over 1 year experience working with patients and then frame it more about your work in America, because that is the reality with these healthcare hospital systems, is they want to hear how you've worked with patients here. And even if you don't have that direct patient experience, that's okay. It's how have you helped organizations better serve patients overall in America? Because I think you're right, is that you may have overqualified yourself with things that maybe they didn't even consider, right? They're like, oh, okay, great. You were a doctor in another country, but were you a doctor here? Right? They don't, I think for them, it's not the same. So I think if you want to apply to these roles, that would be fine. It still makes sense for you, given that you just graduated and you're in that early stage of your career, but try to keep it as much as you can. Now, that doesn't mean you don't disclose your experience, from India or from your past, wherever you're coming from. What I simply want to say is be mindful of the audience that they want you to serve is here, right? So just try to use that lens as you apply. Yeah, Rupika. Sorry, what country are you from?
India, yeah, right.
India.
You're
Okay. I just didn't want to. Okay. Yeah. I see that too. And I do want to do more sessions with folks who are, from another country and then working here now. So I think it's just going to take time for me to get organized for that. So keep your eyes out. Yeah.
Okay,
But I
sure. Thank you
I
so
do
much.
get those questions. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. There's hope, guys. There's hope. It's just finding that right fit, right, Allison? It's like, where's that little fit you sometimes can't get? So, all right, well, that concludes today's office hours. This was a really great full hour of discussion. I am pumping some of this conversation out on YouTube. Go ahead and check out. Keep coming. I'm here next Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and just cheering you guys on. All right. And hope your interviews go well. Sending you positive energy, positive vibes, and it's practice. Okay. For all of you who are interviewing, practice, practice, practice. All right. Great work.
Thanks.
Bye.